In today's video, I'm going to show you guys here the Bitcoin bottom for 2022 with some technical analysis and a very repetitive pattern here for Bitcoin dating back to 2013. I'm going to show you guys here in depth. And again, just because I say this doesn't mean that this will be the bottom. This is just my opinion and my own research, of course. Please do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research and make your own decisions based on your own research. My channel is only for entertainment purposes only. And if you guys want to create your own crypto channel, I actually made a video on how to do that step by step in depth right over here if you guys want to watch that. But let's get into the video. You're probably wondering what is going to be the Bitcoin bottom for 2022. Before I even get to that, let me show you guys here once upon a time in 2013. I'm going to show you guys here this pattern because this is going to fit in with the bottom for 2022 for Bitcoin. So this is 2013, and again, I'm on TradingView. If you guys want to follow along, I'm going to share here all the indicators right here. I'm on TradingView. I recommend you guys have Bitcoin Bitstamp because Bitstamp lets you go all the way back to 2013 while others don't have 2013. BTC Bitstamp. So this is 2013. As you guys can see, we topped around $1,100. Okay, so that became resistance. So right here, eventually we break out of that resistance, okay? And this red line is a clear support line, as you guys can see right here. Clear support line. The moment that we break that support line, which is right over here, which we also broke out of this resistance, which was connected with here with the top. The moment we break that support, we break out and we test out what was once a resistance here at the top, which becomes a new support, and then we come out of that. And then eventually moving on to 2017, as you guys can see right over here, we top around 20,000. So that's going to be the resistance right over here. And this is the support. This is the clear support right over here, as you guys can see, clear support line. So the moment that we break out of this resistance from topping out to 20,000, and at the same time, the moment that we break this support, we come down and we test that what was once a resistance similar to 2013, and we bottom out at it just right over here, as you guys can see. But as you guys can see, that is also the 200 weekly moving average. If you guys want to add that, you guys can just go to indicators. It's a free indicator. You guys can change it. I put in 200 and 300, but we bottom at 200 while at the same time being this new support line, and then that becomes our support throughout the year. And then we enter 2019, and as you guys can see right here, this top of 14,000. Okay, I'm making the same line from the past years. Okay, the same exact line. Okay, becomes resistance. Boom, we test it. Eventually we break out of it. This is the support line, similar to the other ones. Clear support line. The moment we break out of the support line, which is right over here, we test that what was once a resistance from the top over here. As you guys can see, we wicked down exactly to the T. Okay, to the T right over there. And this time, this is what's interesting, because this time we actually don't test the 200 weekly moving average. We go below the 200 weekly moving average, which we actually tested right over here in 2018. This time we go below it and we test, guess what? Guess what we test? The 300 weekly moving average, while at the same time testing the resistance. Okay, as you guys can see, we broke that support and we had a sharp, as you guys can, this is a sharp downturn to test that. All right, so great. Fast forward to present time, right over here in 2021, the top was around $64,000 or 65. Okay, we're gonna make a line right there, just like previously. Make that the resistance. Okay, great. Boom, we test the resistance right over here. We go all the way down, and then we eventually break out of the resistance. It becomes the new support. Okay, this was resistance. So similar to the other years, right? Resistance, resistance. We broke out of it. Support, support. Now, as you guys can see, we're trending down to hit that same yellow support line from the previous years. After we hit the top, we come down and we test that. But what was the trigger to test that, guys? What triggered it all these years to test that? It was that support line. So we make this the support, okay, which looks like a very clear support, this red line. Okay, going right over here. Okay, red line. And again, all it takes is for us to break that support to come down and test that yellow resistance line. Now again, there are things that can negate this, which, as you guys can see, this is the resistance right here. We haven't broken this. Okay, if we break this, this might be the one that we actually do, that we break out of it and then we test that, and then that becomes the support, and we actually meet one of the 200 or 300 weekly moving averages. But if not, if we can't break that and we actually break the support, which is this red line right here, that will signal that we are going to bottom at this yellow line. Most likely hit either the 300 weekly moving average or do something that Bitcoin has never done before, which is hit the 400 moving weekly average. Okay, now you're probably saying, oh, Bitcoin has never done that before. We hit the 200 weekly. Okay, we hit the 300. Who can't say that it can't hit the 400? After we hit the 200 back in 2018, then in 2020 we hit the 300 weekly moving average. Who can't say in 2022 we hit the 400 moving average? Now you're probably saying, where is that? And you're probably saying, what about the 200? Well, the 200 is literally about to hit it in a couple days, but the 300 is still up for bet. Let me put this up right here, which is the day range. So if we were to hit the 300, which would be around here, it would be about 40 to 50 days, okay, which is where that 300 weekly moving average would find this yellow support right over here, which is literally in less than 2 months. Or let me put the 400 so you guys can see where the 400 will be. So instead of having the 200, we're going to change to 400, and the 400 is, boom, it's going to be right over here. It's the orange one. So the 400, if we hit that one, okay, 70 to 60 days, around there. Okay, so it's going to be longer obviously than the 300 weekly, less than 3 months, 2 months, around there. And the price will be around 12,000. 12,000. That's if we hit the 400. If we hit the 300, which is still, again, like I said, is still a chance, the price will be around $15,000, okay, which I do think that is going to be the bottom, ranging from $15,000 to $20,000. It wouldn't surprise me if we do go and the bottom is $12,000, but again, $15,000 to $12,000 is not a crazy difference, but I do think $15,000 will be the Bitcoin bottom. And again, most likely, this is all my opinion and my research, we will test the 300. We have to, because we did in the past, okay? Multiple times we did in the past. And the way that the Bitcoin market is going, it just shows you that we are going to test that weekly moving average, okay? Now again, what will negate this is if we break this and then this becomes that, and then we test the, maybe even 200 or 300 in the future, hitting this at the same time. So again, guys, I do believe that we're in a bearish moment right now, especially with everything going on. But not just that, looking at the TA, it just shows you that we are coming down to test not just the $28,000. I think the moment that once it breaks that $28,000, it's just going to be a huge signal that we're going to go and test it. And the funny part is that the $28,000 measures with our support. It lines up perfectly, right? Which is, like I said, that red line that I showed you guys here, which is that support, which I showed you. Once it breaks that support, it comes down to test what was once resistance, which Bitcoin has done ever since 2013, multiple times, like I just showed you in this video. That weekly MA, guys, is extremely important to Bitcoin. It already hit the 200 before, it hit the 300. It most likely will either hit one of those three. Okay, my bet, I think it will hit the 300, but I'm not gonna negate the fact that it can hit the 400, because like I said, it hit the 200, 300, it can definitely hit the 400 weekly MA. And I just want to show you guys here another graph here. So as you guys can see, this is this support, which is the green line. We're coming to support it, okay? Which is actually funny because it's around 30,000, 28, 30,000, which is the same support which I showed you guys here, okay? Let me actually zoom in because I want to get in depth here. Okay, we're coming, which is around, look, $30,000. If that breaks that, okay, which it definitely can, because as you guys can see right over here, okay, in 2018 it broke out of it, as you guys can see, this little cup right here, and it touched that 200 weekly MA. Okay, that part which I showed you is actually this part right here. You see, it looks like a cup here. You see this cup? It's this right over here, which touched the 200 weekly MA. I don't have it on right now because I changed it for the 400. And then right over here in 2020, it broke out of it again, and it touched the 300 weekly MA. This is that part. You see this part right here? This little section? That is this right over here. That is this. Okay. So fast forward to present time. It can definitely go back and touch one of those weekly EMAs and break out of that 28K resistance, huge resistance, and go below this support range and touch one of those weekly EMAs. So my guess, again, this is just my opinion, I would say the Bitcoin bottom for 2022 is going to be $15,000, you know, ranging from 20,000 to 15 to maybe even 12,000. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 12,000, but I think that it will be 15,000. And then after that, we're just going to go rising up and reaching all-time new highs, which I think we will reach all-time new highs this year. So that's crazy. I do think that we'll hit $15,000 and also at the same time reach new all-time highs this year, obviously towards the end of the year. But I am very bearish for this moment in time, but I am super bullish long-term Bitcoin. But I do think that we're coming down here to touch that weekly MA, whether it's the 200, 300, or even 400. So I just want you guys to look out for this as something in the side to look out for, because if it continues to, you know, prove itself and it breaks out of that 28,000, it's going to definitely come down to what I think will be $15,000. And again, the bottom, you know, when people talk about the bottom, a lot of people think that it's going to be there for like a week to a month. No, when it hits the bottom, it literally hits it. Usually it'll be there for like a couple minutes or even an hour, okay? And the way to get the bottom is use limit orders, right? Use multiple limit orders because not everybody's going to be able to buy that exact bottom. So it definitely will probably wick down there for literally less than a couple minutes or even an hour. But yeah, guys, that's just my opinion. That's my TA on Bitcoin bottoming out for 2022. Again, this is just my opinion. If you guys got any critiques, any comments, okay, leave it in the comments below. I want to see what you guys think of this. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched until this time, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys. Leave a like, comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.